Welcome to another edition of The Heart and Diving. We're still in Chapter 1 and we're talking about the effects of exercise and diving. And we want to consider some other aspects related to this phenomenon. Now, statistics show that up to 1/3 of all diving fatalities are associated with an acute cardiac event. In a recent study of DAN members, the incidence of diving-related deaths overall was determined to be 16 per 100,000 divers per year, and the diving-related deaths due to cardiac causes were nearly a third of that, 5 per 100,000 divers per year. It is particularly important to note that the risk of cardiac-related death while diving is 10 times higher in divers over the age of 50 than those under 50. In fact, the study really showed that there is a continuous increase in risk with increasing age. While some suspected cardiac events may be provoked by diving-specific activities or situations, other cardiac events may not be caused by the diving as such. In fact, they could have occurred anywhere. But unfortunately, a cardiac arrhythmia and loss of consciousness while underwater is a very serious condition and is unfortunately invariably fatal, or nearly, unless there is a very attentive buddy and the person is brought back to the surface safely. Cardiac events are not limited to the waking hours. In fact, many people who die in their sleep die as a result of a sudden cardiac arrhythmia. Acute myocardial infarctions, which are more commonly known as heart attacks, are brought about by exertion, such as while swimming against a current in heavy waves or under conditions of excessive negative buoyancy. In other words, fighting to maintain a particular depth level. And these are involved in certain dive-provoked fatalities. Heart attacks are caused when there is insufficient blood supply to the muscles of the heart. Diving-related heart attacks typically occur in middle-aged males with undiagnosed coronary artery disease. Diving, or in fact just immersion, may provoke acute arrhythmias or disturbances in the heart's rhythm and likewise result in sudden death. Arrhythmias are more likely to cause death in older divers. As the late Carl Edmonds explains in his book Diving and Subaquatic Medicine, and in fact the dive data confirms this, the following: the victim often appeared calm just before his final collapse. Some were unusually tired or resting, having previously exerted themselves or being towed at the time, suggesting some degree of exhaustion. Some acted as if they did not feel well before their final collapse. Some complained of difficulty in breathing only a few seconds before the collapse, whereas others, underwater, signaled that they needed to buddy breathe but rejected the offered regulator. Explanations for dyspnea include psychogenic hyperventilation, autonomic induced breathing stimulation, and pulmonary edema, the latter being demonstrated at autopsy. In all cases, there was an adequate supply, suggesting that their dyspnea was not related to the equipment or problems. Some victims lost consciousness without giving any signal to their buddies, whereas others requested help in a calm manner. So, the incidence of sudden cardiac death also increases with age. Patterns of sudden cardiac death are similar amongst divers as they are amongst the general population. Nevertheless, it is important for divers not to dismiss the possibility of a causative relationship between diving and sudden cardiac death. Cases of sudden cardiac death where there was no obvious external provoking factor occur more frequently in older divers. Post-mortem examinations of sudden cardiac death victims are more likely to reveal signs of previously unsuspected heart disease than a specific precipitating event. Now, the best way to prevent sudden cardiac death is to prevent heart disease and to maintain physical fitness and wellness as you age. Thank you for watching. We hope that you will continue subscribing to this channel, join us on YouTube and Twitter, offer your comments, participate, and thank you for joining Dan. Or if you're not a Dan member yet, we'd really encourage you to join.